There's a moment in every sport where you stop watching and start witnessing, where the air in the room shifts, the crowd holds its breath, and you realize you're seeing something that won't come around again for a very long time. That moment is coming, and it's coming on clay. Right now, as the WTA Tour packs up from North America and makes its way across the Atlantic to the red dirt of Europe, there's one name that every coach, every veteran, and every ranking-obsessed analyst is quietly circling on their notepad. Alexandra Eala, 20 years old, Filipino, and about to walk into the most dramatic setting of her young career so far. The Upper Austria Ladies Linz Open is turning 35 this year, and the organizers decided to celebrate by doing something completely wild. They ripped out the hard courts. All of it. Then they hauled in 100 tons of crushed red clay and built a temporary arena right in the heart of the city's design center. 30,000 seats. A gladiator pit in the middle of an Austrian city. And the very first match on that freshly laid dirt is going to tell us everything we need to know about where Alex is headed this season. Her opponent is Julia Grabher, 29 years old, Austrian, playing in front of her own people in her own country. On the surface, she's spent her entire career grinding on. On paper, this looks like a trap. In reality, it's a coronation. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because the full story here is so much richer than just a scoreline. Let's go back a few weeks. Alex walks into the Miami Open, one of the most brutally competitive events outside the slams, and she doesn't just survive. She cuts through that draw like she's been there 100 times. Veterans, ranked players, names with experience and pedigree. She handles all of them. Baseline pressure, clean winners, and a tennis IQ that honestly has no business being that developed at 20. By the time she walks out of Miami, she's inside the top 50 in the world for the first time in her career. And the thing that made that run so striking wasn't just the results. It was how she carried herself through it. No panic. No wide eyes. She played like someone who had already decided she belonged there. But here's what makes the next few weeks genuinely fascinating. Hard courts are not even where Alex is most dangerous. They're not her home. Clay is. And not just any clay experience either. Since she was a teenager, Alex has been training at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. Think about what that means for a second. She didn't just learn tennis on clay. She learned the philosophy of clay. She was surrounded by the sport's greatest thinkers on that surface, absorbing ideas about angle, spin, positioning, and endurance that most players don't fully understand until their late 20s. The Nadal Academy doesn't just teach you how to slide into a ball. It teaches you how to construct a point over 15, 18, 20 shots. It teaches you that every ball you hit is either setting a trap or springing one. And Alex absorbed all of that while her peers were still figuring out what game style suited them. She comes into Linz not as a hard court player testing clay. She comes in as a clay court specialist who just proved she can beat you on hard courts too. That's an entirely different and far more terrifying proposition for whoever's standing across the net. Her left-handed forehand is the weapon that makes everything click. On hard courts, it's dangerous. On clay, it becomes something close to unplayable. The spin she generates causes the ball to kick up high and outside the hitting zone. And when that happens on a surface that grips and lifts the ball even further, it turns a difficult shot into a nearly impossible one. You're not just reacting to power. You're reacting to movement, trajectory, and a ball that does something unexpected every single time it bounces. Grabher is going to feel that in the first 2 games, and she's going to have to make a decision quickly about how to handle it. And that decision is going to define the entire match. Now, Julia Grabher deserves real respect here because she is absolutely not a sacrificial lamb. She climbed to number 54 in the world at her peak. She has beaten quality players on the surface, and she knows exactly how to make a clay court match uncomfortable. Her game is built around patience, retrieval, and emotional intelligence. She understands that clay is psychological warfare as much as it is physical, and she knows that if she can drag Alex into long, grinding, exhausting rallies, the crowd noise combined with the fatigue and the pressure of a first-round match can do real damage to a young player's focus. And that crowd is going to be something else entirely. There's a specific kind of energy that fills an indoor arena when the hometown player is on court. Every rally feels personal. Every error from the visiting player gets a reaction. Every winner from the local hero gets treated like a match point in a Grand Slam final. It's not just noise. It's a psychological current running through the entire building, and it's designed to make the opponent feel like an outsider, like someone who doesn't belong there. Grabher is going to feed off that energy. She's going to use it to extend her legs in the tough moments, to retrieve one more ball, to hang around just long enough to force a mistake. That is her entire plan. And honestly, against most 20-year-olds, even talented ones, that plan works. But Alex is not most 20-year-olds. The thing about elite baseline power on clay is that it doesn't just win points. It relocates the opponent. When Alex is locked in and hitting with full spin and weight, Grabher isn't going to be able to sit comfortably at the baseline and redirect. She's going to be pushed back. 3 meters behind the baseline, then 4. And the further back you get, the less you can do with the ball. Your angles disappear. Your ability to attack shrinks. You're just running and blocking and hoping something changes. And when Grabher drops one short, which she will because that's what happens when you're pinned that far back and under that kind of pressure, Alex is going to step inside the baseline and finish the point with a flat winner that the crowd won't even see coming. That sequence is going to happen over and over, and the crowd is going to get quieter each time it does. Because there is nothing more deflating for a partisan audience than watching their player fight their absolute hardest and still come up short against something that just feels bigger. The silence that settles into a 30,000-seat arena when the home crowd realizes the visiting player is better is one of the most powerful things in live sport. And we believe that silence is coming to Linz. Here's what makes Alex so compelling as a player to watch right now. She's at that specific and rare intersection of youth and confidence where she still has everything to prove, but she's already stopped playing like it. She's not tentative. She doesn't go conservative in the big moments. She trusts her training and she hits through the ball when lesser players would just try to keep it in play. That kind of mindset is incredibly difficult to manufacture, and it can't be coached into someone. It either exists in you or it doesn't. And in Alex, it clearly does. Coming off Miami, off that top 50 ranking, off the validation that her game works at the highest level, she's going to walk onto that clay court in Linz with something very close to certainty. Not arrogance.
Certainty.
There's a difference. Arrogance gets disrupted the moment things don't go your way. Certainty holds when the crowd is loud and the opponent is grinding, and the third game of the first set is tighter than you expected. Alex has that. And it's going to matter. There's also the question of what comes after Grabher, because the draw in Linz is not kind. Waiting in the second round is Jelena Ostapenko, former French Open champion. One of the most violently unpredictable ball strikers in the history of the women's game. Ostapenko doesn't build points.
She ends them.
Flat, aggressive, sometimes reckless, always explosive. She is the kind of opponent who can walk onto any clay court in the world and hit through the conditions and through you if she's in the right headspace. If Alex gets past Grabher, she's walking straight into that. And that matchup is going to be one of the most must-watch first-week clashes of the entire clay swing. 2 aggressive baseliners. One left-handed with spin and construction, one right-handed with pace and chaos. On clay. Indoors. In front of a crowd. That match alone is worth the entire preview. But you only get there if you handle the first round cleanly and efficiently, and that's exactly what we're expecting Alex to do. We're calling a straight sets victory. We're calling it dominant and composed rather than dramatic. We think Alex is going to take the crowd out of the match by the time the first set is halfway done, and we think Grabher, despite fighting with everything she has, is going to run out of answers before the end of the second. The European clay season has started. Alex has been waiting for this moment, whether she says it out loud or not. The training she put in at the Nadal Academy, the grinding on red dirt, the studying of angles and spins and patterns, all of it has been pointing toward these next few weeks. She's ready. The only question left is how far she goes. So here's what we want to know from you. Do you think Grabher's crowd advantage in Linz is strong enough to actually disrupt Alex and pull off the upset? Or is Alex about to give us the kind of first-round performance that silences the building and sends a message to the entire draw? And if she does get through, can she handle Ostapenko in round 2? Drop your predictions below. Like this video if you want more deep dives like this one through the clay swing. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. The clay season is here, and we are covering every single moment of it.